There is a kind of house scattered all across the American Midwest that almost nobody can name anymore. You have driven past one. I would put money on it. A square, sturdy, sensible house, a deep front porch, a roof pitched just so, sitting on an ordinary street in an ordinary town. It looks like every other old house on the block, and it isn't like the others. Not quite, because that house did not start as a house at all. It started as a book. It came in the mail. I want to tell you about the years when an American family could sit at the kitchen table, turn the pages of a catalog, point one finger at a picture, and order the home they would live in for the rest of their lives. Not the furniture, not the curtains. The house. The whole house. Walls, windows, staircase, nails, packed into a railroad car and shipped to the nearest depot. It sounds like a tall tale. I promise you it is not. Between 1908 and 1940, the Sears Company sold tens of thousands of homes exactly this way. The best estimates land somewhere north of 70,000. And the strangest part of the whole story is how completely we have forgotten it. So let me take you back and walk you through how it actually worked. Slowly. Because the details are the good part. By the early years of the last century, Sears, Roebuck and Company was already the biggest store in America that had no store at all. It was a book, a thick paper catalog that arrived at nearly every farmhouse in the country. And from its pages, a family could order almost anything. A plow, a wedding ring, a cook stove, a violin, even a headstone. All of it shipped by rail to the depot in town. Then, in 1908, Sears printed something new, a separate catalog. They called it Sears Modern Homes. And the idea inside it was almost reckless in how simple it was. You did not buy a finished house. You bought the kit. Every single piece needed to build the home, delivered straight to you. And with it, a thick book of instructions that told you the exact order in which to nail it all together. A typical kit held something like 30,000 pieces. Sit with that number for a second. 30,000. Every board cut to length at the mill. Every joist and rafter stamped with its own number. The framing lumber, the flooring, the shingles. The windows already set in their sashes. The doors already hung in their frames. The staircase, the molding, the paint and the varnish. The gutters, the nails, sorted into kegs. And that instruction book, bound as thick as a hymnal. Over the life of the program, Sears offered something like 447 different designs. They were not numbered like cattle. They had names: the Magnolia, the Wesley, the Crescent, the Honor. A family did not order a model. They ordered a home with a name on it. And the prices ran the whole range of American life. A small, plain workman's cottage might cost a few $100s. A grand house, columns and all, might run several thousand. In the dollars of the 1920s, that was real money. But it was money a railway clerk or a school teacher or a coal miner could actually reach. Especially because of the thing Sears did next, which was, to my mind, the truly revolutionary part. Sears lent you the money. The very same catalog that sold you the house would carry the mortgage to build it. You bought your home and your home loan from the same company, out of the same book. For a working family that had never owned anything, that had rented all their lives, that had quietly assumed ownership was for other people, this was a door swinging open that had always been locked. Now, let me be honest with you for a second. If you are still here, listening to an old man talk about lumber and railroad sidings on a perfectly good afternoon, then you are exactly my kind of person. So do me one small favor. Tap that subscribe button. There is a whole country of vanished places I would like to show you, and I would hate to lose you here at the depot, with the best part still coming. Now I want to slow down even more and walk you through one particular town, because Carlinville, Illinois tells the whole story better than any number could. Around 1917, the Standard Oil Company of Indiana opened a pair of coal mines near Carlinville, and those mines needed men. Workers poured in, a great many of them young immigrants from across Europe, arriving by the trainload to dig coal. In a year or two, the town's population swelled by roughly half, from around 4,000 people to around 6,000, and there was nowhere to put them. A housing shortage, fast, and severe. So Standard Oil did something no company had done at that scale. It picked up the Sears Modern Homes catalog and it placed an order, not for one house, not for a dozen. The order came to about $1 million, the largest single order in the entire history of the Sears Home program. More than 190 kit homes spread across Carlinville and 2 smaller settlements nearby. To Carlinville itself came 156 of them. Picture the railroad siding at the edge of that town in those months. The boxcars arriving, one after another, the men with horse-drawn wagons hauling the numbered pieces up to the empty lots. 8 different house models, rising side by side. 9 square blocks of brand new homes. A whole neighborhood that had, in the most literal sense, arrived by train. They called it the Standard Addition. And here is the thing that ought to stop you cold. Those houses are still there. More than a century later, around 152 of the original 156 are still standing, still lived in, still keeping families warm through Illinois winters. That is the largest single collection of Sears homes anywhere in the United States. A neighborhood that came in the mail and simply never left. And if that just gave you a small chill, the good kind, then we are on the same page, you and I. That feeling is the whole reason this channel exists. So subscribe and stay right here with me, because in a few minutes, I'm going to teach you how to spot one of these houses on your own street. And I mean that quite literally. Now, let me pull back from Carlinville, because I want you to understand what made these houses last. And it was not luck. There was a grade of Sears home called Honor Bilt, the top of the line, and the lumber in an Honor Bilt house was a different thing entirely than what gets nailed up on the edge of town today. Clear grade framing. That means lumber with no knots, the strong, straight, dense wood, cypress and cedar, woods that resist rot almost out of pure stubbornness. The studs were true to their name, real full-dimension lumber, not the shaved-down boards that carry the old names now. The plaster went on real wood lath. The trim in a lot of these homes was solid oak, and Sears was so sure of those materials that they would put the guarantee in writing. If a board split in transit, they replaced it. If a single piece was missing from your 30,000, a letter to Chicago put it on the next train. You were a family building a house in a cornfield with your own 2 hands. But you were not alone with the problem. The largest company in America was standing right behind you. And I think that is the part we have really lost. Not the lumber, though the lumber was better. What we lost was the honesty of the whole arrangement. You were told what you were buying. You were told what it was made of. And the thing arrived exactly as promised, and it was true. Now let me show you the other side of that coin, because no story like this one stays sunny for long. The thing that finally killed the Sears home was not a competitor. It was the Depression. Sears had lent the money for thousands of these houses. And when the country fell apart in the 1930s, when men lost the jobs that paid those mortgages, Sears was left holding the loans, which meant Sears had to foreclose on its own customers, on families living in houses that Sears itself had shipped to them, piece by numbered piece. It was a thing the company plainly hated to do. By the late 30s, Sears had written off millions in mortgages it would never collect. And somebody in Chicago decided the home business simply was not worth the heartbreak anymore. The last Sears Modern Homes catalog went out in 1940, and then the company did a quiet, almost unforgivable thing. It got rid of the records. In a corporate house cleaning, the paperwork that said which house went to which town and which family, all of it was destroyed. So sit with the irony of that for a moment. The houses outlived the proof that they were ever sold. Tens of thousands of them, standing on streets all over the country. And no master list anywhere of where they are. The Yost company erased its own map, which is exactly why finding one today has become a kind of detective work. And a wonderful one, if you ask me. There is a woman named Rosemary Thornton who, more than almost anyone alive, taught this country how to read its own front porches. Her book is called The Houses That Sears Built. It is the one that cracked the whole thing open. The field guide for a treasure hunt that runs down every old main street in America. So let me tell you what she taught people to look for, in case there is one on your street, in case there is one over your own head. Go down into the basement and look at the floor joists above you. On a real Sears kit home, you will often find a number stamped right into the wood. A shipping mark, a part number painted or branded on, never meant to be seen once the house was finished. It is the fingerprint, the thing the company forgot to erase. Look at the hardware, too. Some of the doors and fixtures carry a small maker's stamp. Look at the lumber, all of it machine cut to the same exact measure, repeating through the frame. Pull the old deed at the county courthouse and look for a Sears mortgage on it, and then take your floor plan and lay it against the original catalogs. Those have been digitized now and put online for anyone at all to study. Match the plan to a page, find the number on the joist, and you have done it. You have found a house that was lost on paper in 1940 and found it again on a Tuesday afternoon with nothing but a flashlight and a little patience. There are people keeping registries of these finds now, quietly, lovingly. One rediscovered house at a time. The map the company destroyed is being slowly redrawn by ordinary homeowners in basements all over the country. And here is where you come in. If you ever go down there with a flashlight and you find that number stamped on a joist, come back and tell me. Leave your town in the comments. Tell me the model if you can find it. I read them. I truly do. Some of the best discoveries I have ever shared on this channel started with one person, one basement, and one stubborn hunch. And Sears itself? The great book that built so much of America by mail? That company shrank and struggled, and in our own century finally faded out almost entirely. The catalog is a museum piece now. The empire is gone. But the homes did not go to the museum. The homes stayed exactly where the boxcars left them. They are still on those streets, in Illinois, in Ohio, in the Carolinas, in towns whose own residents walk past them every single day and never once know. That is the thing about this whole vanished chapter. It did not really vanish. It is hiding in plain sight, under 100 years of paint, holding up roofs and raising families, quietly outlasting the company that sold it and the men who built it and most of the people who ever knew the secret. So the next time you are walking through an old neighborhood, the kind with the deep porches and the good bones, slow down a little. Look at the roof lines. Look at the way a few of those houses seem to rhyme with each other, the same shape repeating down the block. You may be looking at a catalog page that learned how to stand up, and if you ever do go down into your own basement and find a faded number stamped on a joist over your head, a number printed by a mill worker a century ago for a house that traveled to you in a railroad car before your grandparents were even born. Well, knock once on that old solid wood and listen to how different it sounds from anything they build today. That sound is the whole story. You won't need me to explain it.